$74,000 in 2 months. That is exactly how much money I have made as a day trader using one insanely simple strategy. So I'm going to teach you the exact same strategy that allows me to take multiple 5-figure payouts every single week, that allows me to make over $40,000 per month as a day trader. First thing we're going to do is go over to QQQ on TradingView. I use it every single day and it has absolutely crushed for me. So first thing you want to do is go over to the top corner of your TradingView here and grab this little tool right here. This is called the Fibonacci retracement tool. Now, this tool looks really confusing at first, but don't worry, I have a custom setup that I'm going to show you, and we're going to make sure that we have it fully built for you 100%. So what we're going to do is double tap here, and the only values you want to have on this fib here are going to be these 5 that you are seeing right here on the screen. So pause the video, do this along with me. So these 5 values right here, you're going to go, and this is how simple your fib is going to look. It's the most simplistic strategy that you can ever use. It doesn't have any crazy steps. It doesn't have any fair value gaps and consequent encroachments, any of these really complicated concepts. It's just 2 very simple things. The first one is going to be your golden pocket. This is extremely important to remember, your GP. This is the most likely place for us to take a trade using this strategy. And the second is going to be the 50% area. So the way that we're going to use this strategy is by using what's called areas of retracement. The stock market can't just go up forever. We know for a fact this is not something that can just happen. There always has to be pullbacks in the market. And so your question may be, well, how do I know how far we're going to pull back to? And that's where most people get really confused, is because they try to hop in the middle of a trend. It doesn't work that way. If you're just taking a position and the market's just moving up forever and you try to catch this, how many times have you tried to take this right here and then all of a sudden it dumps on you? Well, we need to be entering at a point of discount. We need to be entering at a point where we're actually able to make some money and be able to catch the trend along the way. This is what the Fibonacci retracement tool does. So what that means and what that looks like is essentially something like this. We're gonna see trend push up here, push up, and then there's gonna be one of 2 things that happen. We are either going to retrace at the 50% or we're going to retrace at the golden pocket. So lots of times that we're making these trends, it's gonna look exactly like that. So this is what that's gonna look like. As we make a trend, you're going to notice that we have to go somewhere before we start to push up. We can't just start pushing back up all of a sudden. So what we're going to see a lot of times is something along the lines of this. You're going to see a move that ends up coming all the way back down, and you're either going to bounce at this 50% area and then continue, or we're going to push up and then we're going to bounce at this golden pocket area and then continue. Those are the 2 most likely things to happen while we're trading. And so I'm going to show you multiple examples of this. We're going to break it down and make sure that it's fully perfect for you guys. So that way it's just super easy to understand. But as you can see, we're going to do the downside example now. As we're pushing down here, it's got to come back up. We can't just keep going down forever. That's not how the market works. So how do we know where? Well, this is typically how the market is going to move. We're going to either come here and reverse off this 50%, or we're going to come off of the golden pocket and then reverse. Those are the 2 most likely options here, the 2 most likely spots for us to revert. And so what we're trying to do is catch these trend entries to keep moving. Let's move it to the charts now and actually show you what this looks like live. First things first, guys, using this strategy, it can be done on any time frame. And in my opinion, the higher time frame you go, the more accurate this strategy actually gets. So as we move here, there's one main thing that we need to focus on. This is the very first step, and it's the most important step. If you don't get this, you are not going to be able to actually utilize this strategy properly. The first thing we need to do is see exactly where the range is. Now, a range is defined as the top and the bottom of a large move. So it's just going to be when there's a defined large range in the market. And so you can use any time frame, like I said on this, but I'm going to stick with the 15-minute for now. The higher time frame you go, the better you are. Pick the top of your range and the bottom of your range in this scenario. Now, one thing you need to make sure that you have and make sure that you understand is that you are always going from left to right, not from top to bottom, not from bottom to top, right? You're going from left to right. So when you draw this fib here, it's going to be from this top to this bottom, left to right. And then we're just going to drag that fib out, right? Very simple. It's the simplest thing in the world. And so one thing that you'll notice is the moment that we come up and touch this golden pocket, look what ends up happening, right? We end up coming straight back down to that 50%. This is how this strategy works. There's 2 main ways This is the first way. I'm going to show you the second way in a couple of minutes here. This is one thing that I want you to see before we start doing that. But this is the way that this strategy works. You find those retracements and you take positions off of those retracements, right? So if I remove all my drawings here, one thing that you'll see, again, redraw all of these. So the top of your range, you want to find the top of your range and the bottom of your range, right? That, as you can see, is a pretty strong range. So we're going to grab the top to the bottom. And as you can see, we have perfect retracement at the area of the golden pocket. So one thing that you can do is you can enter your positions as soon as you touch the golden pocket, or you can wait for price action confirmation, right? So here in this scenario, what you're going to see is either, yes, you could enter just at this golden pocket, and that has worked a lot in this market here, but you could wait until you have actual real confirmation off of this move. For example, here, when we see this large wick right here, we could enter on this break. Those two ways that you can enter using this. If you would have taken this position, this ends up being an absolutely massive trade using your lows as your target. And as you can see, huge trade, and we can do this all day, every day. This becomes a very simple strategy inherently. Just to show you guys exactly how powerful this strategy is, I'm gonna draw a couple of these fibs out. So you can see the top, grab your top to the bottom of your range. There's your fib move right there. And this, I can back test this for you guys. I can show you all day, every day. This strategy absolutely is a killer in every scenario. As you can see here, we're going to just keep drawing these out. That way you can see them top to bottom. There's your fib right there, the continuation. We have so many different examples of this, but as you can see, I can just keep drawing them and they just keep working. Those are the two spots that you're going to reject at your 50% and your golden pocket. Now, you may think you just understand this strategy already. Well, you don't. There's one main thing that I need you to understand before we move forward at all. Yes, this works a lot. It works very often. But one main thing that is going to make this even more powerful for you and have an even higher win rate is to utilize the entry model that I have used for over 5 years now. This entry model is called the TFC system, and that stands for trend failure continuation. And so yes, you could just enter right here at this area right here, but that's not really an ideal scenario, because what we want to know is exactly where trend is and are we looking to continue in our favor. If we just enter right here at the level, yes, there's a small chance that it would work, but it's not 100%. And so I want to make sure that things are actually 100%, quote unquote, before I enter. Nothing's ever going to be 100%, but I want to make sure I have the highest chance possible. And the TFC allows us to do this. We are going to be catching an entry here instead of at the very bottom, which will cause us to be more successful. And so what that will look like is going to be something like this. As we pull up, we need to see ourselves a failure. So here we end up failing. We have ourselves trend. We know we're bearish at this point because we ended up breaking this structure here. So we know we're bearish. One thing we need to see is a failure. And so here we end up having this failure that pushes us green instead of being red. The next thing we're going to need to look for is a break of lows. If we break lows, then we are good to enter. And as you can see, as every candle pushes up here, we are not breaking lows. Take a look. We have not broken that candle's low. We have not broken that candle's low. So if you would have entered right here at the 50%, then you would have just absolutely not been in a great spot whatsoever because you entered right off of the level touch. Instead, you need to wait for the actual price action confirmation. And so here, you'd still be red at this point. What needs to happen is you need to see a low get broken. And this is where that low should get broken, right? At that golden pocket. Then we see the golden pocket try and break. It fails, showing us that potential downside move. And here you go all the way down to your lows. You always are most likely going to target your lows in this scenario. You can target lower if you want, but for this trade, the lows are going to be exactly where I'm most likely going to target there. So there's one more way to enter positions using this trading strategy, and it's the most powerful way that most people just do not talk about. And so as you guys can see here, I always talk about the TFC. By the way, this is my one-on-one mentorship program. If you don't have a mentor, or if you've never trained with somebody before directly one-on-one, I am the 100% best person to work with because I've been doing this for over 4 years now, and I've worked with over 450 students. So if you want to work with me directly one-on-one, 24/7, you have 24/7 access to me. It's going to be first link in the description if that's something that you're interested in. Lots of results. I'll scroll through them right now just to show you. We've crushed for a very, very long time, and so I want you guys to be able to do the exact same thing. So if that's something that you're interested in, there's lots of people that are doing incredible numbers in here. So So go, first link in the description if you want to apply. But let's go back. So as you can see, this trade right here is utilizing something a little bit different. We don't just take the position right on the golden pocket touch. Instead, we're taking the position after the golden pocket hit. And so that's something that we utilize a lot called the golden pocket continuation. And it's not used very often because it's honestly one of the most overlooked strategies that people just don't see. And so to do this golden pocket continuation, what you're gonna do is instead of just taking the long right here and expecting price to continue, we're gonna wait for price action to give us stronger confirmations. And so once you see price action push through the golden pocket, this gives us the idea that we may retest the golden pocket and continue. And so let's take a look exactly at what happens in this scenario. We push forward down through the golden pocket. Are we going to enter short at this point? Do we just enter short right now? No. And most likely you've probably done this before. And this is what absolutely kills you as a trader, is that you keep trying to enter at the exact point where you break the golden pocket. Well, that can always be a fake out, as you see right here. This would have stopped you out hardcore. But one thing that we know is the TFC entry model that I showed you guys before, which is the trend fail continuation, shows that if we are pushing down here, we have that failure right here, and then we end up pushing down below lows, we should see a continuation. So what ends up happening here is this next candle comes through and we have a break of those lows, exactly what we're looking for. You place your stop losses on the other side of the golden pocket, and we always target the lows on the other side of the fib. And so guys, this becomes a very simple strategy. As you can see, why didn't this work? Why did this end up flipping and going red on it? Well, remember, the fact is that there's always going to be fibs everywhere you look. And so take a look here. Why are we rejecting at this point? Why did we just flip all of a sudden when this should have gone all the way to these lows? Well, take a look. If we grab the fib from the top of our range, or the bottom of our range, to the top of our range, look at where price flips. This is exactly how fibs can also give you targets as well as your entry. So now you can base targets and entries off of fib, giving you extremely powerful trading strategy ideas over and over and over again. And this is the way that I use fibs every single day, guys. So yeah, guys, this is the Fibonacci continuation model. If you want a more in-depth guide on this, drop a comment because I can go over this in-depth, or maybe even do a backtesting session on this. If you want to see a full backtesting session with this whole strategy that might be like an hour long, drop a comment. I will go over and show you exactly how well this strategy actually does. And remember, guys, like I said, I do have one-on-one coaching that I do every single day. Take a look at all of these mentorship students here. I have worked with people directly one-on-one for such a long time, and this has absolutely crushed. Like I showed you guys the results earlier, I'm not going to keep bogging you guys down with results, but if this is something that you actually want to do, you actually want to take the next step and become a profitable trader for yourself, maybe to actually go full-time, maybe to actually do the things that you've wanted to do in life, well then, with that being said, first link in the description is going to be the SOA mentorship program. Go and apply. I will talk directly with you and see if you're a good fit to join. It is probably, in my opinion, my favorite strategy that I've ever traded. And guess what? I use it trading live all the time. I'm going to link you to a live trading video that actually is going to be using these Fibonacci retracement strategies. See you guys on the next one. Adios, everybody. Go click that video before this video ends. I'll see you. Bye.